Hi, I'm Kevin Frankel, and this is Drunk History. We're going to be talking about the Lysistrata, an ancient Greek play. So, the Lysistrata is a comedy about how Greek women are tired of men going away on campaigns for war, and they're left alone, without sex, or they can't get married, so they're kind of pissed about that, and they want to make peace with Sparta and Athens. So starts out with Lysistrata, right? And she called together all of the Athenian women, and they're going to meet at her house. So the first one there is Canisius. No, is it?
Yeah, it's Canisius.
Wait, no, it's
Canisius.
Cleonike. So Cleonike is the first one there, and they're talking, and Cleonike is like, "Why are you calling all the women of Athens to meet? Is this some crazy sex party?" And Lysistrata is like, "Hell no. This is the exact opposite of that." And then Lysistrata is like, "Where is everybody? They're all doing women's stuff, like taking care of children and drinking and stuff." So eventually people start showing up, and Lampedo, the Spartan, the wife of the king of Sparta, shows up, and Lysistrata starts speaking to everybody about her plot. What she wants to do is make peace between Athens and Sparta by restricting the sex from women to men. Women will not have sex with the men until they have peace. So, yeah. They did not like the idea at first. Her friend, Cleonike, is not down with it. She does not want to do it. So she has to convince Lampedo to actually go through with the plan first, and then everybody's like, "All right, fine." So they swear their oath on a gigantic pot of wine, or jug of wine, because of course Athenian women are alcoholics. So they all swear on a jug of wine, and they get drunk. And then all the women are like, "Lysistrata, how are we actually going to do this? How are we going to get peace?" And Lysistrata says, "I have a plan. It's already in place. I got all of the old women of Athens, and they're going to take over the Acropolis." And they see smoke from the Acropolis. I'm like, "Well, it's already started. Let's head over there." So they go over there, right? And they see a bunch of old men coming, and they have they're super old, really cranky old men. And they have fire, they have a battering ram, super old. They didn't go off to war because they're old. So they're marching the Acropolis. They want to burn it down because women shouldn't be taking over anything, etc. And then a bunch of old women come up, and they're like, "You're not going to burn this shit down. We are women, and we're going to take control." So they bring these big jugs of water, and they get into an argument. They insult each other about being old and ugly and whatever, and then the women end up pouring water on the dudes, and they get all sad and cranky, and just at that time, the commissioner comes up, and he's trying to get money for the war, for ships. And he's like, hey, why can't I get money? And then the old men are like, the women poured water on us. We're so wet and grumpy. And the commissioner's like, oh, that sucks. Let's go get some money. So he goes over to the Acropolis. And Lysistrata comes out. And she's like, hey, we're taking over the Acropolis. Can't get in to get money. He's like, well, screw that. Guards, arrest her. So he has a bunch of archers. They're slaves that like go try to arrest her. And one by one, a bunch of old women, they scare the archers off by like threatening to hurt them in some way or another. And so they get scared off real easy, like for archers. And then the commissioner's all alone, and he begins talking with Lysistrata. And she's like, hey, this sucks. Why do women have to stay at home and do everything while the men are at war all the time? This sucks. It's like women don't get to have sex while men are just starting wars, and then some women just don't even get to make a family. They don't even get to have husbands. So they're just stuck alone, wasting their lives away while men are at war. And then the commissioner is like, well, that sucks to suck. And then Lysistrata is like, hey, commissioner, the government should be like a spool of wool. I don't remember exactly what that means, but she makes this amazing analogy to a spool of wool. And then the commissioner is like, you're just spinning yarn. Something like that. So, yeah. And then they get mad and they start dressing up the commissioner as a woman. And then the commissioner fully dressed as a woman now. After all the old women like start putting wreaths on him and stuff, he just runs back and he's like, I'll not even change. I'll just stay like this so they know what happened. So he goes back and everybody knows that he's a wimp and he got dressed like a woman by the people who were holding the Acropolis. Then, it's a couple days pass, and the wife of Myrine comes. Or no, the husband of Myrine comes. Canisius.
Myrine.
So Myrine, her husband comes, and he's like, hey, I'm really horny. I want some sex. See this? I got a hard on. Straight up pitching tents. Here's our baby. Come down here and see our baby. It's sad. So he uses his baby to get Myrine to come down and see her. Because everybody, by this point, is super horny. So Lysistrata talks to Myrine and is like, hey, you can't go down there and have sex with him. And Myrine's like, well, I want to. And then she's like, no. Stay with the cause. And then she's like, all right, whatever. So she goes down there. She, like, piece by piece, she kind of leads him on. She makes us, like, a whole bed. She gets a mattress and a pillow and a bunch of stuff and just turns Canisius on. And then the last thing she does is like, all right, well, hey baby, why don't you well, let's have sex, but like let's have peace with Sparta and Athens first. And he's like, all right, yeah, I'm digging it. And then she just leaves. And so he's like, well, fuck. Now I want to have peace. So then some people from Sparta appear, and they're like, well, this sucks. We have boners. And the people from Sparta, the women from Sparta, don't want to have sex with us. Because Lampedo is doing a women rebellion there. And no one's having sex with us. And we're pitching tents. And we're hunched over. And it sucks. And we have blue balls. So the guy from Athens are just making fun of him, having boners. And it's just a lot of boners. And they're both like, hey, maybe we should have peace, because not having sex is awful. And so they're like, yeah, totally. Let's go back to Sparta and Athens and let's have peace. So the next scene is everybody like makes a big meeting with Lysistrata, and they're like, all right, let's have peace. So Lysistrata comes out with her handmaid, Reconciliation. And Reconciliation is this gorgeous, shapely woman who's completely naked, of course. Every male in the audience has a boner, of course. And so she starts talking about peace. So she's like, hey, Spartan ambassadors, welcome. Reconciliation, why don't you come get these Spartan ambassadors up here? Just grab their hands and bring them up. If they don't give you their hands, grab whatever else and bring them up here. And then once she does that, she's like, hey, Reconciliation, why don't you go grab whatever the Greek ambassadors offer and bring them up here? So she grabs whatever, and
Damn.
she brings them up there with, whatever. And then she makes this huge, like, grand speech about peace and politics. And the only thing the guys can say, the Spartan ambassadors, are like, wow, my boner's so crazy, whoa. So that's, yeah. So she makes this grand speech, boners, and then they start using Reconciliation's body as the map for Greece, right? So like, oh, these curves, I don't know. They start like, oh, these hills are great because it's like a Greece. Anyway, they use her body as a map of Greece, and they start cutting up the land and the territory, and they solve all the issues with this naked woman. And then they all go party, and it's basically a giant orgy, and the end. Everybody's happy. Sparta and Greece have peace. The end. Cheers.
Cheers.